Hello everyone, my name is Jenna Brown. Welcome back to my channel. Last night I handed in my last ever assignment, homework, project thing for university. And the past couple days I've been reflecting on my university experience and how much fun it was. I wanted to make a video about it. And now we will get into the fun part of the video where we go and celebrate and drink champagne and eat cake and have fun with my engineering friends that I've had since second year. I'm gonna go crimp my hair, and this is my curled hair. So, I'm gonna go run and grab the cake. I'm excited. Okay, bye. Excited. That's so cute. It is cute.
He transferred final my remaining.
Good spot. Like. Just click the button.
Yeah, Lizzie's been officially blank.
No.
What am I doing? It doesn't work.
Wait, Kyle, just get the dog.
All right.
We can want me to send it?
Hey, video.
No.
Well, folks, cheers to all those who are graduating.
And to Lizzie for
And to
hosting.
Lizzie.
And
And
Lizzie's
to
parents.
Yes.
For hosting. Cheers, cheers.
Cheers. All you Lizzie and Lizzie.
Salud.
Salute.
Cheers to us at the table.
Cheers. I started university back in September 2015, and some of the people that I met in my very first week there are still some of my best friends to this day. My plan for first year was to live at home and commute into university, and I was going to play on a local competitive soccer team. This wasn't necessarily my dream. I always dreamt of going away to university and living in the dorms and playing soccer. I was like, I'm not going to make money from this ever. I should just focus on school. So I decided to stay in Victoria and go to the University of Victoria. So my first soccer practice was the weekend before school started. I didn't know a lot of people on my team. They were a lot older than I was. They had already played varsity soccer at UVic when I was 18. Yeah, I was quite intimidated. Everyone was older. I remember going to the first practice and seeing another girl that looked my age. I remember walking up and introducing myself, hoping that we could be friends. This person was Sydney, who was my roommate all throughout university and one of my best friends. So a couple days later was orientation day, which is where all of the first year students go and meet at the university for a tour, and you get to meet other people in your faculty. After getting lost on campus, I finally found my group in the a million people in the quad that day. And I look around and it's mostly boys, but I see two other girls over there. Right after the initial introduction of everyone ended and we were allowed to mingle a little bit, these two girls run up to me and introduce themselves. And one of the girls was Lizzie, who was essentially my engineering partner in crime. We have taken every class together since second year. So at soccer practice one day, Sydney and I figure out that we are in the same physics class on Fridays. So that Friday we met up before class right outside the library and we went to class together. And we hung out for a bit after class, and she toured me around her dorm room and was telling me all these funny stories from the weekend before where everyone was partying and having fun. I remember after that conversation driving home and thinking, why did I not live on res? Like, why am I living at my parents' house? I was really sad and disappointed that I didn't get to do that. But then after I met up with Sydney. We were sitting outside of the library and I was telling her how sad I was that I wasn't living on res and that I was jealous that she was, and it was so easy for her to just go to all the events at the university because she was living there. And she said to me, well, why don't you just see if you can get a room? So she replied and told me that I was going to be in room 310 in the building Nancy Hodges, which is that one right there. So this building was a smaller building. It had about 40 people only. My room was just right up here on this side. It was really fun. When I first moved in, it was the end of September. School had been on for about 2 to 3 weeks, so everyone had already met each other and mingled and had all these stories together, and I was the new one coming in, so to really force myself to go out and make friends with all the people that I'm friends with now. But yeah, this is my building. Come on, Jojo. And so in this res building, I met some of my close friends, Mari and Christy, who would later become my roommates, as well as some of my other friends. That was my first month of university, and definitely one of the best decisions I ever made was living on res. The library and the math help center were my favorite places to be. Actually, any help center. There was like a physics one, chemistry. I went to them all. No shame. It's like, I need help. What I remember most about first year engineering, school-wise, was the robot project that we had to do. So in first year we had to design a robot that could detect like infrared light from this little beacon thing, and your robot that you had to build had to be able to detect it and then go towards it. You couldn't crash into it. And drop an object onto the beacon, and it had to stay on, and then it had to go and park against a wall. I went into my labs, and at this point, this was second semester, so I'd kind of met a lot of people in my classes, and typically when I'd go into a lab, I'd kind of know 1 or 2 people. I walk into this lab, and I remember looking around and not knowing a single person. I was like, oh god. And everyone, I must have been a little late or something, because everyone seemed like they were already in groups, and so I looked around for anyone I knew, and I sat by myself. These 2 girls come up to me, they're like, hey, like, do you want to be in our group? And I was like, sure. And these girls are Jade and Tessa. They are still some of my best friends to this day, but we suffered through this project together, pretty much paying one of our friends who was good at coding, pay him in beer to help us code our project. So thank you, Taylor. This robot project took years off my life, I swear to God. Like I said, first year was one of the best experiences of my life. There's something about living in a place and with a bunch of people, and you're all in the same boat. You're all trying to do the same thing, and you're all having fun and meeting new people. You don't experience anything like that at any other time in your life, really. I learned a lot about balancing my life because I was playing competitive soccer 3 times a week. I was in 5 classes each semester. I was living on res, so therefore always being social and like going out and partying and stuff. So second year was when we stopped doing the general engineering classes and we went into our specific discipline. So mine was electrical engineering, and so the friends that I had made in first year a lot of them were in all different kinds of engineering. So in second year it was tough because we kind of had to regroup again. This was when we made our little elect group, which consisted of like 10 or 11 of us. Essentially, we did all of our classes together, studied together, did labs together, did everything together. Second year, I'd made the decision to not play soccer anymore. I wanted to play soccer because I wanted it to be fun. But in first year, it was just not fun for me. I was playing with all those older people, and Sydney and I and some of the other younger ones just rode the bench the whole season. And fair enough, all the people were way older, had played varsity before, and we were the young ones. And I also missed the other sports that I played in high school. So I wanted to play intramurals, soccer, basketball, volleyball. So I did that. Second year, I also moved out into a house with 5 girls total. Also a learning experience living with other people that aren't in your immediate family. We had like a Halloween party that went kind of south. Yeah, it was a good time. I'm very thankful that I met my close friends in second year as well. And a lot of us are graduated as of yesterday, so. And then third year, I also was starting out that school year on a co-op. So in engineering, we have to do 4 co-ops. So I did a co-op at a local company in Victoria, and I really liked it there. So I did that for 4 months until December. And that was a fun experience because it was my first ever engineering job. I was working on a lot of stuff. It was crazy busy. Then third year, second semester, still playing intramurals, and the school of third year was probably the hardest of them all by far. Some of these electrical engineering classes were absolutely horrendous, and I would never want to do them again. Something about being stressed for a test when you're by yourself, it's the worst thing ever, but when you're with all your friends, it's somehow fun. I don't know, I've had some of the best memories in Clear Hue at 2 a.m. the night before midterm.
Yeah. You're into that?
How did I do that? Got some rough midterm grades, but got through them all. On my third co-op, I wanted to do it abroad, so I applied to so many jobs in Germany and Spain. I was offered a job at Airbus. I remember sitting there being like, oh my god, I'm actually going. I actually got a job, like what? Engineering in Germany at Airbus was the coolest experience. I had the best coworkers. I worked in the NH90 map team, which was essentially working on the NH90 military helicopter, and there would be these recurring problems within the helicopter. It would get brought to our attention, and we would have to set up meetings with people in all these different areas and essentially try and figure out what happened. And it was like being a detective doctor of the helicopter. Moved away to Germany January 2019, and I was by myself. I knew a couple people that were also there from Mavic, but I hadn't known them before, so I met a bunch of people when I was there, and I lived with 2 German guys and a girl from Portland. That, I would say, is another decision that I made that is one of the more important experiences I've had in my life, like relying fully on myself to do things and to get places. And traveling, I traveled by myself a lot, and just doing whatever I wanted. Yeah, I'm definitely one of those people that is like, it changed me. Fourth year for me was kind of a weird year, or it was technically my 5th year with co-ops and everything, but a lot of my friends were graduating during this time. So a lot of the friends that I had, they were all graduating a couple months before me, so it was a weird time having all my friends that I'd hung out with every weekend and my roommates that I'd lived with every day to leave Victoria. a lot of my friends from engineering are still here, thankfully. And we all got to finish our last semester together in the summer and do some fun things, even though COVID was happening. It's weird. It's very weird. Lizzie's was super fun the other day. It was so much fun to see my friends who have been living in Vancouver or Up Island the last couple months, and I'm just so glad we all got to get together and celebrate a lot of us graduating and just having a good 5 years at UVic. It was pretty bittersweet. We told stories, we cried, we laughed, but yeah, it was really tough. Glad to have those people to struggle through that with, and yeah, I couldn't have done it without them, and I will always remember that. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed. Bye. Say bye, UVic. Josie. Bye. I remember going to this first practice. Josie, stop. Oh my god, do you hear her?